Association, all at Cal. She's been awarded various accolades, including the Alumni Association Leadership Award at Cal, the African Ancestry Scholarship at De Anza College, the Community Engagement Scholarship at De Anza College. She was a pre-law fellow at UC Davis School of Law and has been awarded the Dean's Fellowship at UC Berkeley School of Law, the University of Michigan School of Law, and the University of Pennsylvania School of Law. For her career in graduate school future, Samuel will be a double bear. She's going to attend Cal School of Law, both. As she continues her work at Berkeley. She hopes to make an impact in the community as a civil rights and immigration attorney. Although she is going to law school in the fall, she still wants to remain committed to the recruitment of students of color into higher education, and she hopes to become a vice chancellor at a university someday as well. My friend Simon. Woo!
I think that's good. I'm trying to figure out where to put it. Thank you, Dr. Campbell. That was a lot. I was like, should sit down? So I want to share 3 things with you all. One of them is how I got to Berkeley, which is basically where you guys are at right now. The second thing is how I got through it. I know once you guys decide to SIR, you are probably going to start thinking about what should I do to prepare? How am I going to make it through? Will I be at a disadvantage in any way as a transfer student? How competitive will it be? So I want to ease those tensions. The third thing I want to cover is how is Berkeley, or how is graduating from Berkeley, which I'll be doing also on Saturday, going to be helping you in the future. So a little bit about myself. In high school, I definitely tried really hard to get into college. I applied to 4 UCs because I got a few waivers, and I decided to apply to Berkeley, UCLA, UC San Diego, and UC Irvine, and I actually didn't get into any of them. So I was kind of faced with community college or nothing. So it definitely wasn't a proud moment for me to go to community college. There was sort of a taboo or stigma around attending community college over a 4-year university, and that's how I started, but I did appreciate the time that I had there because it really prepared me. And I know that you might be thinking if you will have any difficulty with the course load or the demanding nature of Berkeley, but honestly, what you've been doing to get yourself to this point is exactly what you need to continue to be doing because it'll work for you at Berkeley. And the reason I chose Berkeley over the other schools that I got into as a transfer, that's another thing. So I applied to the same 4 schools in community college, and I got into all of them this time. And so I had to decide, should I go to Berkeley, should I go to UCLA? And honestly, a couple of the things that I considered were, how is it going to prepare me for graduate school? So I know Dr. Bosri talked a little bit about the preparation that you get at Berkeley for graduate school. And I knew that I wanted to go to law school, and I knew I wanted to apply as a senior and to start right away. And so I considered, how will I look as an applicant coming from UC Berkeley versus the other schools that I got into? And at the end of the day, because UC Berkeley has so many prestigious graduate programs, when other graduate schools are looking at you regardless of the field, they're going to prioritize your application. And so I think that's really important that you want to take into consideration. Also, as a political science major, I know that Berkeley was in the top 5 for my program, and other schools included Harvard and Stanford, mostly private universities, and so that also factored into my decision. So I would highly recommend looking at your program specifically, and I'm happy to say that Berkeley has #1 programs across the board. So just to touch a little bit upon how I made the transition, and a couple of things, like Danny said, have already been explained. One of them is to build a community. It's very important. There are 35,000 students at Berkeley. 25,000 of those are undergraduates. And depending on your program, depending on your major, it might be a large major, it might be a small one, but it's really important to build some sort of community, whether that's within your classes, which I highly recommend doing. As a transfer student, I made sure I joined study groups for my political science classes, and that really helped me stay on top of the work and really find a group of students that were all transfer students who were kind of going through the same things that I was in terms of even questioning our abilities and basically our ability to do well at a research institution. So I would recommend finding a community. Another thing was using skills that you've already developed, which is what I just said a moment ago. So you all are diligent, dedicated students, and you've gotten to Berkeley, and so you just want to use that same sort of focus to get through it. Lastly, I want to say that Berkeley is not going to be easy. I know Hector already said that some nights you're not sleeping some nights, but you got to make it work. So I would say the amount of work that you're going to put into it is definitely going to pay off at the end. It's going to be very demanding. You're going to be doing things that you never expected. My first semester of Berkeley, I had to write a 30-page research paper. The longest paper I've ever written before that was 7 pages. But the difference that Berkeley has over other universities is that they have resources to help you do that. They don't just assign you things and let you be, which is usually what happens with very large universities. They give you the resources you need to help you write that paper. So for that paper, that was my entire grade for one of my classes. But every week, you had your graduate student instructor, which is another thing that Berkeley has. I think that helps you in really understanding the material. And I was meeting with her every week to develop this paper. And at the end of it, I produced something that I was very proud of, that I did really well on. And now, anytime you assign me a paper and it's under 30 pages, I'm like, I got it, right? So it's definitely a good start. Last thing I want to talk about is what is Berkeley doing for me now, right? Because we're transfer students, we're going to be there for about 2 to 3 years. And if you're looking forward to graduate school or you're looking forward to entering the job market, you really want to make sure that you take advantage of what Berkeley has to offer you in the time that you're there. And I think another thing Berkeley has is the networking opportunities that some universities can't provide. And so it's a great place to go when you know what you want to do. So for example, I knew I wanted to go to law school. First semester, I took a transition course, and I told the professor, I'm applying to law school next fall, and I want to start when I graduate. How can you help me? And he was able to connect me to someone who worked at an international law firm, and I got a job there last summer in SF, San Francisco. And that definitely strengthened my application. And so I think it's a good place to go when you know what you want to do. You express that to people, and people can help you get to that next step or next level. And even if you don't know what you want to do, there are people there that are trained and that are patient and compassionate enough to help you work through that. So it's a great place to find your passion. And I just want to leave you all with a couple words about the sentiment, the feeling that I feel on campus. I've been talking a lot about the prestige of the university. And I do want to also emphasize the fact that you're going to school with some of the smartest people, but you're also going to the school with some of the most socially conscious, compassionate, patient, and friendly people. And Berkeley just is a community that builds ourselves up. And competition has never been a problem for me at Berkeley, and I think that's really important because that is a stereotype of Berkeley, that like everyone's competitive and kind of doing their own thing. And I really do think that the types of students who get accepted to Cal and choose to go there are the types of students that you can build relationships with. And I'm really excited to see what my friends are going to be doing in 5-10 years, what I'm going to be doing, and to start building that network. I would recommend you start connecting with folks already in the room because you're really going to benefit from all of the accomplishments that you'll make, but also your peers and the accomplishments your peers will make. Thank you.